Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Dan the Physics Man coming at you with a KSP Let's Play. So I usually avoid these because it's a whole nother area to go into, but I feel like it's obligatory that if I'm going to introduce everyone to rocketry, I gotta introduce you guys to space planes. So the idea of a space plane that is separate from rocketry is that you do have to pay attention to a couple things about the orientation of your wings and things. This is a basic design which I made, which managed to not, or I don't think it's going to die because, I mean, here's the thing. Here's the situation. So generally, to make sure a space plane flies, make sure you have your overlays here, and you want the thrust significantly behind center of mass, and you want the aerodynamic control, which is the blue, right in the middle of it, to give your optimum control. And you want plenty of ways of maneuvering your thing. So I'm going to hope. Wait, no, I don't want to do that. Did we actually change something? I don't think we changed anything, but screw it, okay. Yeah, we did not change anything. This is different somehow? This is actually different somehow. Yes, okay. Yeah, this is the one. Whoopsie daisy. Yeah, so this is the plane we're going to use. So it's just two engines. It's got a lot of control in the back. We're actually going to make a slight adjustment here because I noticed that anytime this thing lands, these things frickin' break. I'm like, why you gotta do me like this? Okay. There's a little cockamamie maybe, but it should work. So, what I was saying before, basically, is that this one's actually much better oriented. Yeah, so this is probably the one that flew. So, you generally want your... actually, to make sure nothing goes wrong, I'm going to have everything in a freaking line because bad luck seems to follow me places. So this is the purpose of this plane is just science. It's just a science farming plane. And so we're going to deploy this and we're going to make sure we have Jebediah. Jebediah is not up for rockets yet, but he is down to fly this plane. Because in our first video ever, we had a very tragic almost accident. But yeah, so just talking about the engine design really quickly. In order to make an engine, it took me forever to realize this because I don't believe in manuals. I believe in trying everything, seeing what the hell works. Because I'm crazy. I learned that you can't just mount the engine on a wing. You have to mount this little fuel tank first, fuselage, and then you put an engine on the back of it, and then you put an intake on the front. The order in which you do this, you can put the intake or the engine, whatever, but this has to come first because this is the mounting piece. And then once you have that, you are quite ready because you see we have quite symmetric design here. We have a pretty cool looking tail fin. And, I mean, cool looks aside, this is oriented specifically so that this blue aerodynamic control vector and this center mass are on the same point. As the kids say, on point. And this thrust is behind it on the same axis. Like if I line it all up, maybe the air can be wherever it wants to be, but the thrust and the mass must be at just on the same axis here, which is the z-axis pointing towards us. I don't know if you guys remember your Cartesian coordinates. Ew. So yeah, these parachutes are a panic button. Like if we are in some dire straits, we'll deploy those, try and land without wrecking our Science Junior, which is our experimentation device. Which gets us a lot of science. So anyway, here we go. And I do recommend, if you're going to try to make a space plane and try and get into this area of the game, do give yourself some time to just experiment, learn the controls. Because this is maybe the product of maybe, I would say, about an hour or 2 hours of just seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, all this other stuff. So we're going to go ahead and have our engines spool up and throttle. So normally you would apply the brakes by holding B to make sure that your engines reach full power, but we're just going to do this anyway this way because forget that noise. So generally, once you're get to a speed of around 100 meters per second, you can start to ever so gently angle yourself up into the sky, pressing S on your keyboard if you're doing that, or I don't know what it is for PS4 or PS3 or whatever, Xbox. So, and we also don't want to run off the runway either, so if you're in danger of that, do pull up. So we're gonna, okay, just ever so slightly get up and out. So now we're flying over the ocean. You see how we have really good stability because we have four control mechanisms here, making sure we don't flip. So we're going to get up to a certain speed, and then we're going to turn the hell around. The way you turn a plane in KSP is pretty wonky because in real life you would have a special, like, I think you would just shut off all of your fins except the rudder and turn with the rudder. I think that's actually possible. I don't know. I need to look up my aerodynamics because it's been a while. I'm a physicist, not an aero engineer. That is not me. I'm sure someone would be pretty mad about what I'm about to do. So I'm just gonna turn this, and then pull up, and turn this, and then pull up again, and then turn this, and then pull up again. And we're gonna level out a little bit, pick up some more speed, be in Wonk City. Then turn this, and then pull up again. Then pull up again. And we're en route, because we're trying to make it to the deserts. So we have not explored that area yet. We know it's there. I mean, sand, probably. But we don't know. And you notice that our surface speed actually went down significantly, but that's not the thing we need to be monitoring to stay in the air. We have to monitor our effective airspeed, which you notice is slightly higher than the surface speed. Because the effective airspeed has to do with, like, there's wind blowing in this game sometimes, and so basically, since it's not frozen atmosphere approximation, the wind must be blowing like maybe 10 or 15 meters per second or something, just like 30 miles per hour wind, so it's pretty breezy, and it's always blowing in the direction of the runway so that you have a little bit of help as you're trying to take off. But is how actual planes do it too, by the way. I think actual planes will take off in the direction that the wind is with them, so that they have a higher effective airspeed when they take off, so they don't need to use as much fuel. I could be wrong on that. It could be the exact opposite. It could be that, oh yeah, when a plane is taking off, it wants to face the wind so that it gets buffeted more and the wind carries it more. But anyway, so once you flight in KSP is nothing if it's not realistic, and the fact is we're not going to wait around for a half-hour flight, even though it is awesome, be in complete control of everything. So we're going to run a couple science experiments, make sure nothing's new, nothing's new. We're actually going to have our science all queued up, ready to do what it's going to do. And let me see. Yeah, make sure all their science is queued up. Now, a lot of this, the way that science works in KSP with regards to biomes is like, I think temperature and crew. Actually, I'll make that a little more apparent so that I know what to click. Your temperature and your crew report care what you're flying over. Your pressure and your goo only really care, like, your pressure, your goo, and your materials bay only care about your altitude. And yeah, so important to monitor is your thermometer and your crew, because if you fly over a new biome, you'll get more science, whereas flying into certain heights will get you new stuff. But all of the science equipment in the game, if you go to a different biome, it'll give you different results. Because, I mean, we all know that the difference in temperature between the desert and the grasslands is probably going to be something. Or nothing, which, again, either way, data is data, science is science. Whether it goes the way you think it will or not. So, we have this nifty experiment control unit, storage unit, where if we have some temperature that we haven't measured before, we'll store it. Now the goo, I'll actually move this over to make it even more apparent. The goo and the Science Junior cannot be reset. Once those experiments are taken, they're taken. Much like the engineer bridge problem, where if you want to measure the weight of a bridge, just put a whole bunch of weight on it till it breaks, and you have information, but now you have no bridge. That's basically the philosophy behind the mystery goo and the science unit experiment. Kind of just showing people that, yeah, sometimes when you interact with something, you kind of destroy it. That's the majority of why quantum mechanics is so hard. For those of you who are like, hey, why is quantum mechanics so hard? The second you observe something, you change its value. So it's like, geez, it knows you're looking. Get into the double slit stuff. I'm a physics guy. I could talk about this all day. So these experiments, the pressure, the thermometer, and you looking out the window, ooh, hey, we got new science, are infinitely resettable. Oh, that is nice. Okay, so now you see, kind of hard to see, but we just stored those two new science experiments into our stuff. We'll keep on toggling. Ooh, yeah, no, the Highlands, yeah, we already got that. We can always check that by trying to collect it. The experiment storage unit will let you collect an infinite amount of data, but the second you try and collect the same thing, it's like, nah, you can't have copies. So we'll go ahead and, now we're flying over the mountains. So that's more stuff to copy. And then, we'll collect that. Yes, please. And then make sure the pressure doesn't, the pressure doesn't even, a crew report. Yeah, just the mountains. So we should clear it. We're actually not going to clear it because I just want to see, was I right this whole time, or are we in some doo-doo? No, we coming up on it. Real life, I think you would never do this because there'd be all sorts of like, what's the word? When you have flow, look at that, right over the mountain, just sailing by it. Our shadows somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Kind of faded really quickly. In real life, I think you have, with turbulent flows, you have these things on the edge. The name is escaping me, but it is when you don't have laminar flows in the middle and the flow on the outside. So when you're flying up against a mountain, I don't think that's something you can pull off. But I mean, you can't knock KSP for trying to be the most ambitious space/aerodynamics flight simulator I've ever seen in my life. So getting that one thing wrong, the name just entered my mind and then escaped. Oof. So let's see, we'll make sure we're on course here. So we are trying to go to the deserts because we're trying to get some science here. So let me talk a little bit. Okay, we're going to speed things up by going to a lower altitude. Because you notice our effective airspeed is always going to be a little higher than our surface speed. Just because on the surface there'd be all sorts of weird things happening to mess that up. So it's kind of a funny thing. Like if you're on the plane and you're measuring your velocity, it's that. If you're on the ground and you're measuring the plane's velocity, it's that. Because you have a ground speed and you have an air speed, and we have an orbital speed, which doesn't really make any sense for a plane. So we won't even talk about that. But we actually should select the engine. Yeah, there we go. As our effective airspeed increases, our thrust will slowly ever increase, which is the power of our engine to accelerate us. And it's very slow, 11.1 kilonewtons for a plane that's like maybe, I don't know how much it is, like 2, I should have looked, it's like 4, 3, somewhere between 2 and 4 tons. It's barely accelerating us. Like, this has got to be like an acceleration of like 2 miles per hour. Like, it's accelerating at a rate which, if it was on the ground, you could catch up to it, but then it would eventually overtake you. I think. If I got that right, yeah, I think I got that. Mm-hmm. Like in a sprint of 10 feet, you could beat this thing. But up to speed in the air, I mean, no way. Yeah, so we're going to actually... Ooh. Okay, something's up. The jig is up. Oh, we're tilted. Okay, that's awkward. We're trying to be directly up and down. We're still in path. So what we're going to do is we're going to check this again. Yeah, it's just the Highlands again. So we could try and land here, actually. I almost don't trust myself enough. Because to attempt a landing, Because if we land, we get a whole bunch of science here. But look, the ground looks kind of like, You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna tote. Okay. I'm gonna do this because, much like, I'll mention this game briefly because I will cover it. XCOM. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Okay. Don't do that. Stop. Okay. And we're actually gonna slow down our engines. So much like XCOM, you can do this thing, which people call save scum, where you just save a bunch, and that is how you get away with trying risky business. So yeah, so we're going to try and slow up and hopefully land right. Because generally you want to land and not be hitting the ground too hard, because otherwise the cockpit will be fine, but you'll lose all your stuff. So this hilly area is not looking too kosher. We're still over the highlands. So we're going to actually do a couple maneuvers to slow ourselves down. We're going to turn a little bit and get this going. Okay, we slow down another 100 meters. Okay, we don't want to be too slow, but because we don't want to plummet straight down. Okay, so now we're... Okay, this looks like a good spot to try and land. So what we're going to do, we're just going to make sure we're still over the grasslands. Yes, we're over the highlands, yes. So we're going to pull up a little bit. Do a couple of dip and dives. Okay, that. And we're going to try and settle into the ground, getting ready to brake. It's going to be... Oh, no! No! Oh! Son of a shit, everyone died. No! Oh, boy. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Damn it. Well, you saw it here. That's what happens when you done goof. You're doing a let's play, so let's not play dishonestly. But we will do. So we've done a couple things here. Where did we actually... Oh yeah, Highlands Landing. Okay. We're trying to do something. That almost worked. Oh no. We completely forgot about our ability to use parachutes. We completely forgot. Just completely forgot. So we'll go ahead and set these to minimum pressure of that, so that they deploy as soon as we hit the button. Okay, we're gonna ease down like we did before, and we're gonna find a nice little flat spot, but this time we're gonna deploy our parachutes and try and pull off that kind of landing. Because I think what happened is we bounced way too hard. These brakes can't handle that business. These are the super cheap fixed landing gear, so, you know, we're going straight down. Just to start us off, we're just gonna do a couple maneuvers to turn around and slow ourselves down a little. Okay, not that way. Go back up, go back up. Yeah, landing is very tough to do. Just because I'm definitely a rocket guy, not a plane guy. There's this whole racket of people making SSTOs, single stage to orbit craft, which there's a reason why no one's done it, because rockets are easier because you have less stuff, less moving parts. So we're gonna go ahead and coast gently down. We're gonna make sure we're still over where we want to be. Yes, we're still over the highlands. Okay. This should work. I see no reason why this shouldn't work. Well, because we've been so close and failed before. Because this is what you do when you play a Kerbal Space Program. If you don't want to go for it all again, this is what you do. Okay, now we're coming in a little too hot, little too hot, little too hot. Okay, something exploded, but that's fine. Hit the brakes, hit the brakes. We did it! What the hell did we lose? Oh, the left wheel for some reason exploded. Ah, sweet. And we can power down our engines and do some science. The first ever landing of a plane by me. You saw it here, folks. Ah, this is great. And unfortunately, we're going to move because apparently, can we? Can we shut the wheels? Yeah, thank you. Brakes, 100%. Stop moving. Brakes. Can we have these things auto lock? Apparently, we're going to slide a little bit. That's awkward. Even though we're sliding backwards up the hill? What? We need to. Okay, but anyway. Anyway. We're going to go ahead and look at our materials bay. Ooh, that's a healthy amount of science. We're going to look at our pressure. Then we're going to look at our temperature. We're going to look at our goo. And we're going to do a crew report. And finally, we're going to go outside. Oh, geez. It just hit us in the... Oh, no, we're fine. Okay. Go outside, take an EVA, and get back on here. So, all in all, very successful mission. We could take off again, but we don't have the parachutes. So, we would need some sort of engineer to do that. But yeah, so that is how, you saw trial and error, you fly a space plane on Kerbal. Ooh, wait, ooh, no. You know, we're actually gonna, this is a historical moment. Okay, get off the, okay, we are gonna not get crushed by our own plane. It should slow down. I mean, it doesn't have a left wheel. So, as our plane is just doing what it wants to do, we're going to go ahead and plant a flag. uh, our thing is just, I don't know how it's upright. Okay, that plane has actually gotten very far. What the heck? No. Oh, crap. Okay, well, we will hope that doesn't do anything. This is just coasting. Let me go ahead to the track station and collect it. Yes, we can recover it. Yes, we need not worry. Look at that. Ooh, 34 science in one go from a super cheapie. Now, this is nothing compared to the science you can get from going out to the moon and stuff. But considering all we did was just fly a plane from point A to point B, didn't die, we got all this science from it, 100% worth it. So, and we made all the money back too because only a wheel died. So, not true to actual logistics, I don't think, but everything we spent apparently we get refunded if it doesn't die. So, there's that. And that is how you go about flying a plane in Kerbal Space Program.